Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the papers. Punch?
I have a human interest story. So a woman, Mrs. B.C. Raji, died yesterday, was crushed to death when police officers clashed with commercial motorcyclists in Abulegba area of Lagos State. So according to the story, they said the police task force had come to enforce the Okada ban in the area, and then they started using tear gas around. And so one of the tear gas hit the woman who was in a keke napep, returning from the hospital. She's a 67-year-old woman, and she fell off the keke napep. But because the tear gas was everywhere, people were not able to see. A tipper driver just passed and crushed her head. In fact, people could not do anything for her because she died instantly. And so they abandoned her on the road. The driver of the tipper, truck ran away, and she was left there for a while before police now got wind of it, came in and took her to, the police station. Her family members were able to find her. They've taken the body for burial in Ikorodu, and police has confirmed the story, saying that they're going to investigate what happened. It was just an unfortunate incident, caught in the crossfires,
All right, so let me take the Ajaokuta Steel. So the Minister of Steel Development, Shoaibu Audu, has requested 35 billion naira funding from the financial institutions to revive the Ajaokuta Steel Company. I've been hearing this Ajaokuta since forever. Ministry's Chief Information Officer in a statement said the minister revealed this when receiving Stanbic IBTC Bank in the Abuja office. Mr. said that the collaboration with financial institutions was to seek the best financial options to restart the light steel mill in Ajaokuta and kickstart the rod production, which is really critical. Many people have alluded to the fact that our steel is better than most we import internationally. It has become imperative to seek funding of about 35 billion to enable the restart of the plant and for the production of iron rod and achieve the agenda for the current administration and to set timelines and benchmarks. So I hope the financial institutions in Nigeria are strong enough to accommodate 35 billion naira loan to Ajaokuta Steel, but we'll see how that goes.
Every administration will get this request.
Yes.
But I have a friend that works there, and she said it's really a sad state. What they're doing, Nigerian workers themselves just trying to maintain it so that it's not completely dilapidated until something can be done for good. I have a story here where it says that if no fewer than 9,000 civil servants who sat for the 2022 Federal Civil Service Promotion Examinations failed. So daddies and mommies failed. So the letter was saying that only 3,851 civil servants out of over 13,000 civil servants who sat for the promotion exams passed. So we have 139 officers who were promoted from posts of Assistant Chief Administrative Officer to Chief Administrative Officer, and so on and so forth. Total of 113 civil servants were promoted from the role of Senior Administrative Officer, Principal. So I read the story because I was hoping to hear why they feel these people failed, but there wasn't a lot that was said about that. Just to give us the date for the next one, which will hold 11th of December to 16th of December this year. So it will be interesting to know
how they failed.
Yeah, why they failed, how they failed, if they're able to confirm that they truly failed, not that they fail us. When there's a large failure, say they failed us.
They failed us, yes.
So
all right.
I wonder what's happened.
Moving on to Daily Sun.
They failed us.
Yes.
Tears as victims of Kaduna bombing gets mass burial. 2019 Imo Guba, Supreme Court dismisses Ihedioha's suit to sack Uzodinma. Khan, Sultan cautions against dangerous immigration. Mbab presents 521.6 billion naira budget, restates commitment to rapid development of Enugu. CBN to sanction banks hoarding cash. Nigerian political scene, forest of chaos, says Kuka. NLC seeks new minimum wage commensurate with cost of living. Oil, gas service providers exiting Nigeria's in droves, says IPPG. Okay, which story?
Yes, so I have the Khan story. The president of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Archbishop Daniel Oko, and the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Saad Abubakar, were in attendance at the 4th quarterly meeting of the Nigeria Interreligious Council in Abuja yesterday, themed the restoration of hope in Nigeria, and they discouraged Nigerians from the reckless immigration that imposes them to more dangers and inhuman treatment worse than what they are experiencing back home. It says Nigerians have endured the strife and extreme difficulties happening here. It says Nigerians have faced numerous challenges that have shaken the core of its unity and stability, notably insecurity, violence, political tension, and economic hardship. It says that, unfortunately, those who could not bear the situation migrated to other nations in search of greener pastures in what is commonly known as the Jackpot syndrome. But he continued to say that the solution is not in running away to other countries, but in finding ways to restore hope of the citizens in our dear country. He said we are blessed with abundant human and natural resources, and more than any other nation in the world, and we need to get it right on the management of these resources for the good of all of us. The president's, the secretary to the government of the Federation, Dr. George Akume, was there. He reassured Nigerians of the determination of President Bola Tinubu to change the situation of the country. He says his agenda of renewed hope is to ensure that poverty is tackled across board. And he says that he's a detribalized person, and he will not, I'm trying to get, so I can quote him forward. He said he called on Nigerians to trust on the president that he would do all it takes to address the challenges of hunger and poverty. With human and natural resources deposited in Nigeria, our people have no reason to live in penury. And he also promised that the president will not weaponize religion and ethnicity, contrary to the fear of many people. And this is evident in the appointments that has been made so far.
Okay.
And I hope that we are reassured, because yesterday's show, I saw all the tags were done. People don't agree, but those are my words. I don't think that we should just run out. The intellectual capacity should be used also to change whatever we don't like in our country.
Okay.
Yeah, I have NLC. Yes. So there's an ongoing 19th edition of the NLC 2023 Hamatan School. It's started yesterday. The theme of the event is building worker skill for policy engagement. So they say that this is part of the NLC National Schools, where it trains and empowers members of its affiliated unions through skills and development. So the chairman of the NLC, who was represented by his deputy, was one of the things that he spoke about was that the NLC has said negotiation of the new national minimum wage in 2024 will be based on the prevailing cost of living in the country. Also talks about the removal of subsidies on petroleum products has further worsened the challenges faced by working people, and it has unleashed severe pain and contributing to galloping inflation and increasing inequality and poverty. All the other things that we have talked about because of the removal of subsidy. But he says that we also need to be aware as a country, and the government needs to be aware that a well-motivated and well-remunerated workforce has a positive impact on productivity and national development. So when they're having these conversations, it will be that whatever the minimum wage is has to be commensurate with, the realities on ground here.
I hope they can do that. So the Central Bank of Nigeria has said they will deal with recalcitrant banks who are hoarding cash for wealthy Nigerians during this Yuletide at the detriment of the economy. They said they found out that there's scarcity in most of the banks right now. You're not even able to get cash. And the economy, we have about 3 trillion that is being in circulation. So no bank has any excuse to say that there is no cash because there's money in circulation. But they are suspecting that because of the December 31st that was given before, that at the end of the December 31st, they would phase out the old Naira notes. People are beginning to hoard cash. Banks are hoarding, and customers are hoarding cash. But we know that the Supreme Court had already given a judgment on this, that all the legal tenders are still legal till further notice. And so any bank that is caught hoarding money will be dealt with by the CBN.
Okay, so very quickly, the Independent Petroleum Producers Group raised alarm that many leading oil and gas service providers are leaving Nigeria in droves because of the strict local content requirements. According to the chairman, Mr. Abdulrazak, he pointed out that while we are Nigerians, we continue to prioritize local content development. Nigeria must recognize that these international players have a key role to play in ensuring technology transfer and knowledge sharing that our local players can benefit from. So you would agree with me that our local players will still lack the requisite skills to adequately support our deep offshore operations and other specialized operations. Therefore, our recommendation is that that there should be ways to modify our local content requirements to ensure to be globally competitive. So they're just worried that the international players are leaving in droves because of our new requirements for local content. Good, bad, I mean, let's see.
People leaving.
Vanguard, our final paper this one. Let's find a story not taken. Tinubu returns from COP28 summit in Dubai. Budget defense, Senate warns MDAs against sabotaging 2024 budget cycle. Unlawful detention, ECOWAS court orders Benin Republic to pay Sunday Igboho 20 million safer. IPOB, we must adopt non-kinetic approach to end insecurity in Southeast Asia. Tima. Ondo government PDP bicker over alleged looting of state resources, and federal government's deficit spending rises 11% to 7.8 trillion. Okay, which story?
Okay, I have the Boho story, Yoruba Nation. So, the Community Court of Justice of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, sitting in Abuja yesterday, ordered that the Republic of Benin should pay Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, 20 million safer within 3 months for unlawful detention and violation of his fundamental rights. And they said that in a unanimous judgment, Sunday Igboho had gone to the court to enforce his fundamental rights for his detention that lasted till early this year in Benin Republic.
Okay, so our Vice President Kashim Shettima yesterday met with this group. They call themselves a delegation under the auspices of Peace in Southeast Project, PICE-P. They visited the VP to present an initiative on how to tackle the issues, the separatist issues happening in the Southeast. And the Vice President was saying that, you know what's best is a non-kinetic approach, and that's what this group is about. He says, or else, you know, that's the best way, that in fact the worst wars that we've fought in the world have ended up on the negotiation table. So we just need to, that what needs to be deployed in the Southeast is, we need to see how you build bridges that will determine how far we can go as a people and society. We have to reach out to youths. We have to empower them. Once we empower them, the crisis and agitation and insecurity will vanish. So less, you know, weapons of war and more talking and empowering people and bringing everyone to the table.
No matter how much we blow up things, it's still going to end up at the negotiation table. So we have to always be ready to use non-kinetic. All right, let's go on a quick break now. We'll come back and move on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.